أمريكا بشأن العنف ضد المرأة والسلام والأمان. خلال فترة 2012 ل 2014 قامت بتسهيل تطوير خطط العمل الوطنية العراقية لتنفيذ قرار مجلس الأمن 1325. سيدة جونسون، اسمحي لنا انه احنا نسألك كمراقبة لأوضاع حقوق الإنسان في فلسطين، ما هي الرسائل اللي انت بتشوفيها انه مهم توجهيها للنساء في منطقة حوض البحر الأبيض المتوسط، وكيف ترين حالة حقوق الإنسان ووضعية النساء الفلسطينية؟ تفضلي.
Thank you very much for this invitation, and I'm really sorry that I cannot be in person together with our friends and colleagues in Palestine. I will start by saying that Euromed Feminist Initiative is a policy network of women's rights organizations from the two shores of the Mediterranean that provides expertise in the field of gender equality and women's rights as inseparable from democracy building and citizenship, and advocates for political solution to all conflicts, ending occupation, and for the right of people to self-determination. In this work, addressing the continuum of violence against women and girls in peace times and in times of armed conflict and occupation is a central notion. And I want to underline that since the founding, Euromed Feminist Initiative advocates for the implementation of women, peace and security agenda as a tool to uncover the continuum of violence and to promote women's participation in all places of decision-making and political negotiation processes, linked to ending of armed conflicts and, of course, linked to the ending of occupation of Palestine. Our Palestinian friends and colleagues have been, since the beginning, inseparable part of this work, and we make together analysis that we implement further on in our advocacy of this continuum of violence. In this sense, we have worked with the Palestinian colleagues for over 20 decades in the Euro-Mediterranean region, and supporting, providing space and echoing in all international platforms the Palestinian women's demand to be full part of the building of a democratic state, with women's rights as a constitutive part of it. It is our common belief that no conflict can be solved sustainably without the participation of the half of the population, even if it can be nowadays found as a cliché, but it is a very true notion. Furthermore, in our common struggle in the Euro-Mediterranean region against militarism and occupation, and as we are a regional network, we are engaged for a political solution and fair solution for Palestine as a condition for stability in the whole region. As well, FE believes that the status of gender equality is a measure of democracy and sustainable development and cannot be associated from the wider political, social, or cultural and economic trends. In this sense, the women, peace and security agenda and the women's rights of the Palestinian women, of course, cannot be separated from the national liberational struggle and towards ending of the occupation of Palestine. We were together a week ago, probably, in Beirut, in a Euro-Mediterranean meeting over developing regional guidelines for the implementation of the women, peace and security agenda, where the Palestinian analysis and voices were put straight into the center of our debate. We shared during this meeting, for the first time for the last, before the COVID, we shared several unanimous concerns about the global regression of women's rights and the shrinking space of civil society in total as a whole, and the women's rights organizations in particular, which contributes to the limiting of the action of the women's rights organizations, of course. Furthermore, our concern has been linked to the turbulent developments and the resort to military solutions to the conflicts in the Euromed region. which is often used by the governments as an excuse to postpone the adoption of measures and policies that are favoring women's rights. In this context of increasing violence, we also raised in the Euro-Mediterranean region our common concern about the threatening consequences and the pertaining violations and deprivation of the Palestinian people's fundamental rights to recognized by the international law, and these are predominantly the right to self-determination and the right to return, where women are the first to suffer these consequences. Our deep concern was that the international dominant policies are oriented today towards the opposite direction to that of the two-state solution and negate all promises of independence, including even the Oslo Agreement. They thus legitimize the expansion and the perpetuation of the occupation, and they thus legitimize the sufferings of the Palestinian people, particularly women, who continue to be subjected to all kinds of violence, house arrest, withdrawal of residence permits, or family reunions. We have witnessed women, young women, children that are being killed. I will not repeat, as you said already,